You know, one of the reasons why I think the media is as bad as it is today is due to just how divisive it all is, especially journalism. It seems like nowadays everything regarding the news and the spread of information has just become distorted and misconstrued to the point where you don't even know what to believe anymore. And that's because the media nowadays is just trying to push its own political agenda that really is focused on just dividing people over every little thing. Everything is politicized, everything is made about race, gender, sexuality, or some other superficial attribute that can be used to categorize and essentially split people apart. They could literally be talking about the sky being blue or why water is wet, and they'll somehow be able to tie it back to the gender pay gap or how one race is privileged over another. And this article that we're about to take a look at is probably one of the biggest examples of what I'm talking about. If you had to take one article or one story that describes the current political state of this country, then this would be it. Now, this article is written by Deadspin, which personally I've never heard of, and the title of the article is, oh boy, get ready for this. White fans were entertained by black athletes a day after a racist killed black people in Buffalo. This is what white supremacy looks like. So this obviously is referencing the Buffalo shooting that happened a little over a week ago, in which an armed man shot and killed 10 people and injured 3 more, with 11 out of the 13 victims being black. I was actually able to see the video taken from the Twitch livestream the shooter filmed it on, and it was absolutely despicable and terrible. I don't want to dwell on this for too long, as I'm sure you all know about this, so let's address this title. White fans. No, not just fans of basketball, white fans of basketball. You gotta let the people know who the enemy is. Were entertained by black athletes a day after a racist killed black people in Buffalo. This is what white supremacy looks like. Okay, this is written in a way that makes it sound much worse than it is. First of all, white people weren't the only ones watching this game. There were plenty of people of other races who were being, quote, entertained by black athletes. These games might take place in areas that are predominantly white, but that isn't the fault of white people who watch basketball. And what the fuck are you talking about white supremacy? They are watching a basketball game, which, yes, did take place right after a terrible event, but that isn't white supremacy at all. You can say the shooter was a white supremacist, but that isn't who we're talking about. You're talking about the white fans who were doing nothing but watching and enjoying the game like what every fan does. And this was just the title. We haven't even gotten into the article itself yet, but you're already seeing examples of what I said before on how everything is made about race and other political shit nowadays. Sports only serve as an escape from society if you're white. A long time ago, in 2020, this country was in the midst of what white America deemed a, quote, racial awakening. The fact that they called it that was all the proof anyone needed to realize that it was less of an awakening and more of an oxymoron. But yet, here we are, 3 years post that, quote, awakening, and everything is back to business as if Nancy Pelosi is taking a knee in kente cloth, and all those DEI workshops that were held at your job magically fixed hundreds of years of racism. And if you don't believe me, both of Sunday's Game 7s were proof that the awakening was only a brief moment of pseudo-accountability that's passed. Exhibit A. Sports only serve as an escape from society if you're white. No. Sports are an escape for everyone, not just fucking white people, who you've just unknowingly made the entire article about. You put so much emphasis on white fans and how only white people can enjoy sports. I hope you know that that really isn't helping people receive your message very well. And notice the language and phrases that this guy uses. Quote, white America, and sports only serve as an escape from society if you're white. You can't tell me this article wasn't written for the explicit purpose of separating and dividing people. In the bubble, when the NBA had Black Lives Matter on the floor, players had social justice slogans on their uniforms, and Adam Silver was allowing, think about that for a second, black people to kneel because the police love shooting black people. The NBA and the WNBA were prioritizing the humanity of their players. There was even a boycott of a playoff game, which caused the entire sports world to come to a halt, as players finally saw just how much power they have. But that was then, and this is now. Players aren't getting asked how they feel about things outside of 94 feet after games as much. It's as if basketball or whatever sport they play is all that should matter to them. Sideline reporters aren't asking them about Roe v. Wade or if their loved ones are scared to go to the grocery store like they used to. Bro, imagine watching an NBA game or going to an NBA game and actually paying attention or caring about what people have on their shirts and signs. Like, oh nice, this person has a BLM sign, but wait, where's the pride flag? I'm not seeing any fucking rainbow flags. Where are they? Like, come on, dude. And this guy really doesn't hold back with the generalizations. Quote, because the police love shooting black people? I swear you can't make this up. It's as if basketball or whatever sport they play is all that should matter to them. I mean, I would assume it should be one of the top things that matters most since these people are athletes, meaning that they earn a living off of playing sports, so I'd imagine they'd prioritize that over worrying about your shitty politics every free moment they get. It's almost as if they care more about their jobs than virtue signaling like you are. Sideline reporters aren't asking them about Roe v. Wade or if their loved ones are scared to go to the grocery store like they used to. Who in their right fucking mind would ask NBA players about this shit? Imagine being able to interview an NBA athlete, especially after a game, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, hey, what do you think about abortion? Or, hey, Steph Curry, do you think your friends and family feel safe going into a grocery store without getting fucking shot and killed? What business do you have asking these people about this? What answer do you hope to get out of them? You already know that if they say something you don't like, you're gonna use that to cancel them and ruin their careers, so what's the point? And what the hell does Roe v. Wade have to do with any of this? You're just throwing this shit in out of nowhere? On Sunday, 4 teams played in 2 Game 7s. The Milwaukee Bucks and Boston Celtics were up first, followed by the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. 3 of the 4 head coaches are black, along with the overwhelming majority of those teams' rosters. However, in Boston, where one of the games was played, over 52% of the population is white, according to the latest census. And in Phoenix, where the Suns were the host, over 68% of the residents are white. What does this mean? That a day after Black America was shaken to its core because we've now realized that a grocery store on our side of town has become the latest place where we can be killed just for existing. Black players from the Celtics, Bucks, Suns, and Mavericks had to play in a win or go home game to advance to the conference finals, despite the feelings that all of us were experiencing. And yet, no one seemed to care or ask them about it. It was clear that basketball mattered, but not black lives or the black psyche so much. Okay, so you're mad that some of the games are played in predominantly white cities? How about you talk to the NBA commission about that instead of fucking blaming everything on white people? And who said no one cared about the shooting or any of the other things black people have faced according to you? This may be shocking for you to hear, but most, if not everyone in the United States supports black people and finds these kinds of acts and mistreatment just as horrendous and terrible as you do. Not all white people are white supremacists, nor are they guilty or should be held responsible for things that may have happened in the past that they weren't even alive for. And oh yes, basketball clearly matters, but the players and black people in general don't matter. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I can't find a single flaw in that logic. Congratulations. And despite how well Jason Tatum and Grant Williams played Sunday in Boston, or how Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie stepped up on the road in Phoenix, just know that they did despite what happened to people that look like them on Saturday. Because when you're a black athlete in America, competing at the highest level as a form of entertainment to the rest of the world, all the while knowing that the majority of the people that cheer for you don't think your life matters, may be the hardest part of the game that you work at that a reporter will never ask about. Okay, again, this guy phrases the job of an athlete in such a weird way. It almost sounds like he's trying to say, you know, when you're a black athlete, you're a form of entertainment to the rest of the world. You don't really matter. You're entertaining white people. He's making it sound like they're trapped and forced to play basketball because, you know, we have to entertain people. These athletes are playing of their own free will. They aren't being forced to play like they're in some fucking gladiator arena. And when he said that the majority of the people who cheer for you don't think your life matters, I'm sorry, but you're just dead wrong. Do you have any idea of how outrageously incorrect you are? Do you even know what you're saying at this point? So you're saying the people who watched and cheered on Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, or Russell Westbrook just don't care about their lives at all? I hope you know one of the reasons people get so invested in not just basketball but all sports in general is because of the players. People who attend games or watch them at home are watching their favorite players dominate. They'll buy their merch and they'll support them. Do you think they'd be doing this if they believed the lives of their favorite players didn't matter? These black athletes, whose lives you're saying don't matter in the eyes of the majority of people who watch them, have millions of fans who continue to support them, despite everything that happens. I'm actually convinced this guy has never watched an actual sports match, let alone a basketball game. If you have watched even a single soccer game, you'd know that the fans do care about their favorite players, whether they're black, white, or green. And the same thing applies to basketball and every other sport. Seriously, if this guy's goal for writing this article was to piss people off, then he accomplished it with flying colors. These kinds of articles kill the leftover brain cells within me and almost every other person who reads them. When you read this kind of shit, it really shows you just how out of touch these journalists really are with reality. And it's fun to see what kind of garbage they're putting out now, but that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and could leave a like, I would greatly appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.